information about me, my APCUG email, and today I want to talk about Windows 10 April 2018 update. Some news, some features, and the release date. And yes, the April 2018 update, that's its new name, was made available to those who want to go get it on the 30th of April. But I can tell you that I have been monitoring the internet and there are some problems with the update. And of course, Microsoft promises that they'll have those fixed by the time they have it ready to start appearing for all users on May 8th. The fact of the matter is, I have not downloaded the 2018 update. I'm going to wait until May 8th or after. But of course, there's a lot of information on the internet about what it contains. And when Microsoft gets ready to roll out this update, it will be done over time. The code name for the April 2018 update is Redstone 4, and the version is 1803. There are a lot of things that are coming out with this update, and I couldn't possibly in 50 minutes cover them all. So I picked some that I think are really neat updates, and I will cover those and show you some screenshots so that you'll know what some of them look like. I suggest that if you're interested in finding out more information, get on the internet, and there's a lot of different organizations that are putting out a whole lot of information about what it will cover. The first thing that I got a real good excitement about was the Microsoft timeline. And the reason I got excited about it because it's sort of like what Apple is doing on iPads and iPhones. So here you push the Windows logo key and the tab key and you get a pop-up on your screen, and it shows you in chronological order what you've been doing in the past, and you can go back to doing that without relying on your memory to tell you where to go and what to do on some subject that you were working on recently or a month ago. So yeah, you can resume, get right back. And you can also be done on any of your mobile devices that are using Microsoft apps like Edge and Microsoft Office. So if you don't like timeline, you can go into settings, privacy, activity history, and you can turn it off. So here we have a screen of settings, and I'm in privacy, and I go down to activity history, and now I can set up what my activity history is going to look like, and I can clear it. I can make other adjustments here. So you're not locked in a timeline. What was I working on? It can track documents, web pages, and organize them into a collection. I'm going to show you what timeline looks like in a slide or two. But how do you bring it up? Well, there is a new small icon on the taskbar, and it's called Task View, and that gives you the same information. Also, when you bring timeline up, you can see what you were doing earlier today. That's one of the categories that comes up if you were in fact doing something earlier today. So yeah, you can resume activities, and you can do it on a different PC because it will sync across all of your devices that you have locked into your normal PC. And if you're going to resume from other devices, then Cortana will give you a pop-up. You can use the scroll bar to move through the timeline, or you can use the search box that appears with the timeline to find something that may have been a while back. And they're categorized for today by the hour, and for previous days by the date or the month. Right click and you can clear all the activities for that day and get rid of your timeline, get rid of it on your timeline. And again, settings, privacy, activity history will give you a shot at setting this up the way you want to do it. Now let's take a look at what timeline looks like. First off, of course, there's the task view new icon. Lower right hand corner, right next to Cortana. And there's a sample of what a timeline display would look like when you pop it up. You can see activities, and even if I made this timeline display a lot larger, it was still kind of fuzzy, so I kept it at a half a screen. Let's talk about setting apps. The settings app has some new features, and I'm excited about them. We have smaller icons, and whether they have the icon or the title to the left or right didn't make a big difference to me, but the smaller icons did. And we have some new options. Sound, disk space, privacy. And the privacy options are arranged logically, whatever that means. I highly recommend that once you download and complete the April 2018 update, that you go in and recheck your privacy settings, because they might have been reset to what Microsoft wants. Now, another note I want to make here. If you get ready to download the new update, be aware of the fact that you have to have some space available on your hard drive or your solid state memory. And it takes either 16 or 20 gigabytes. If you don't have that much space left on your mass memory device, then you're going to have a problem getting the download to work. This is what the new settings screen looks like. So they remodified it. As you can see, some of the icons are to the left-hand side, and the information about what it means is on the right-hand side. They didn't add any, but it's a different display. Display and audio options. I like this. Now we can go to settings, and we can set up, with this new update, our system and the sound and all the different options for it. Input, output, volume. Sort of puts it all in one place. Makes it easier for you to control the sound that you have coming out of your device. Let's take a look at what that looks like in the settings app. Again, we're in settings, we're in system, and we go down to sound. Notice also they got rid of that little gear up there, and they put a home in it for home. A big change in the icon. Anyway, yeah, you can see right here that we can control different speakers, and we can troubleshoot the volume. We can control the microphone. We have other sound options available. And if you go to App, Volume, and Device Preferences, you have some different features there that you can control depending on where your speaker output is and where your app device is. This is a lot better than what they've had in the past, and I like it because it gives you more control over what's happening with your sound. And there's another piece further on that I'm going to mention that also I like when it comes to sound. Let's talk about disk cleanup. I think disk cleanup is something that people should do on a regular basis. And we've always done it by using the task manager or some other device, getting into the control panel, getting into multiple steps. Well, now disk cleanup has been put under the settings. And again, you go to settings, system, storage, free up space now, and it removes that stuff that you don't need on your computer. It automatically scans. And Microsoft, as far as I'm concerned, does a very good job of this. The screen only shows data that you can actually remove and not hurt the performance of your PC. It scans user files and system data files at the same time. They show you exactly how much space will be freed up when you remove each type of data, and then they delete everything as long as your PC is functioning properly. Now, here's what they're really trying to say. If you got a problem with your PC, now is not the time to go in and do disk cleanup, because you have some information like log files and error reporting files that if you end up going to Microsoft for help, they're going to need to look at those, and that gives them a good picture of what's wrong with your computer, and they can tell you how to fix it. But if your PC is working fine, do a disk cleanup and do it frequently. The top of the screen will show you how much information you'll save totally. And now let's take a look at what the disk cleanup looks like in the settings. Here again, we're in settings, we're in system, we go down to storage. We can see in this example that the PC is 242 gigabytes used, 224 free on a total of 467. The automatic free up space has been turned off here in this example, but when you click on free up space now, then you get this display. And this display has different categories of files that it will remove, how much of those files are on your PC at the present time, and an explanation for each one of those types of files. And my recommendation is that you put a check mark in every box that exists and then run the cleanup. And it will, in fact, give you a significant amount of space back onto your hard drive or your solid state memory. A good thing. The next thing that they took out of context and put into the settings app was the startup. When your computer starts up, it goes to a startup folder and says, I'm starting up the computer. what program should I start up and also run in the background? And now Microsoft has moved that into settings, app startup. I will show you a picture of that in a second, a screenshot of that. The options for starting, disabling, enabling the processes are automatically shown in this settings. And if you have a lot of programs running in the background, this is what slows down your computer when it's trying to do a job. When you're working on a 64-bit app that has a lot of things going on simultaneously, if you have a lot of stuff running in the background, you lose space. When you turn on your computer, if you got a lot of things running in the background, you lose functionality and your computer takes a long time to start up. So now we've moved this into settings, and Microsoft says that's where it's going to stay. Yes, you can go to the task manager and get this done now, but in the future it'll also disappear out of the task manager. Make that a little more simpler. So again, we go to settings. We go to apps. We go to startup, and you get this display over here of the different programs that are in fact starting up in your computer when you do a startup. Programmers are told, you work for Acronis, you're told as a programmer, when you make this program, somebody downloads it on the computer, you will make sure it gets into their startup folder, put that in there, so that every time they start the computer, it's running in the background, and running in the background means it'll start up very, very quickly when they click on it. I have turned off a significant amount of things in my startup folder for the PC I'm using right now, and from complete off to a full operational PC takes me less than 13 seconds. So this is a place you need to go and take a look at that. And what do you really need running in the background? Well, what you need running in the background probably is your antivirus. But you take a look at the list. If you don't know what is running in the background and you don't recognize the name, you can also always Google the name and find out exactly what it is. Another change that they made that I like is they changed the Windows security display in settings. We still have settings, we still have update and security, and now when we go to Windows security, the information that you want is right there. And the Windows Defender page is renamed to Windows Security and moved into the first page of settings. So now you can go to the different areas and you can take a look at what is being done or what needs to be done to make you more secure. In my personal opinion, Microsoft is now starting to do a very reasonable job about security on their devices. And they're adding some stuff. They're updating frequently. They are making strides towards giving you a complete secure system. I have been using Windows Defender ever since Windows 10 came out. I was using Microsoft Security Essentials before that. I like them both. They do a nice job. Next thing, user interface improvements. In other words, now I'm going to interface with my PC, and what improvements has Microsoft made in that area? Well, the first thing they did is with the touch keyboard. If you have a touch screen, that's nice. You have a touch keyboard. If you don't have a touch screen, you can still bring the keyboard up on the screen and you can use your mouse to make entries. And of course, now they have all different kinds of variations of the screen, and how it will appear. And if you want to switch between wide, one-handed, split, etc., you tap the button on the top left of the screen and it'll allow you to make settings for the keyboard. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. The circle with the arrow pointing to it is what I added to this screen, and of course that's where you make settings for the keyboard to change it for all those different things that you want to do. While we're still talking about keyboard, let's talk about emoji. I like emoji. I use them when I'm doing things on my iPad or iPhone, and now Microsoft is making it much easier for you to use them when you're doing work on your PC. And the hotkey of Windows logo plus the quotes will bring up all the emoji, and then you can select more than one, and it won't get out of that until you press escape key or you click the close button. And let's take a look at where the emoji is on the keyboard. And I'm certainly not going to go through the 170 different changes that Microsoft made to the April 2018 update of emoji, but I will show you some sample changes. Over on the left-hand side is what they've had so far with the Windows 10 and the 2018 update. You get all these other different variations. If you want to look at all of the emoji that's available in Windows 10, you can go to this bit.ly place on the internet and they will go through it for you. I was there, I looked at some of it, I thought it was great. User interface, Windows Defender. Now, Microsoft antivirus contains Windows Defender Application Guard. This is new, and it's a security feature that I'm excited about. It isolates pages and from each other and from Windows, and it gives you an extra layer of security. Of course, it only does it for Microsoft Edge. The only thing I'm not excited about is Microsoft made this change so that it draws you into using Microsoft Edge as your browser. I don't use Microsoft Edge as my browser right now. I'm using Mozilla Firefox, but I might change in the very near future because Edge is getting better all the time. Depending on who you talk to or what information you read off the internet, Edge is better than Mozilla. Edge is not as better than Chrome, yada, yada, yada. They switch back and forth. They flip-flop each way that you can think about. When it comes to a browser, my personal opinion is use the browser you feel most comfortable with. And if you have a comfort level with that browser and they continually update the browser over a period of time, stick with it. And that's why I'm sticking with Mozilla Firefox so far. The app now has an updated home page and it adds 2 alerts to it. And I'm going to show you a picture of that next. So now we're in settings again. We're in Windows Defender and we get security at a glance, and you see we have 2 new features: account protection and device security. I haven't gone any further on this because, again, I have not downloaded 2018. In the virus and threat protection page, there's no new features, but they move the controlled folder access setting to a thing called ransomware protection. And I've been using it. It was available as an add-on, and I like it. Now it's integrated into the 2018 update. If you go into account protection, under settings, you can also see that Microsoft is trying to get people to set up their computer so that they use the hello face, the fingerprint, or PIN to sign on. There's still a lot of people out there that don't use anything to sign on to their computer, and in my personal opinion, that's dangerous, but you know, it gives you more flexibility in keeping your PC safe. Near share. This is neat. I hope it just works like they want it to, and I'm excited about using it. We know that there's a lot of Bluetooth enabled devices out there that we can connect to our PC, and now when you get a device near and you have Bluetooth on your PC, the two will hook up, and then you can share that device with your PC. If it's an app that's going to do this, then you have to know that the app is also set up for Bluetooth enabled sharing. Okay, you can do photos, web pages if you're using Microsoft Edge, or you can share files in File Explorer. Meaning, you know, if you want to get a file off of an Android device or an Apple device and put it on your PC, Near Share can do that for you. Okay, any type of files, web links, minimal effort, using either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connectivity. And of course, the PC will automatically pick which one is the fastest and the most complete to use. What does this look like? Well, if you go into settings and you go into system and you go into shared position, shared experiences, you have to turn it on. Okay, and now you have nearby sharing that's available, and you can do this simply by getting the devices close enough to each other. And I'm going to talk a little bit more down the line about Bluetooth and what's happening with Bluetooth. So here's what you might see on your screen. Desktop 9, and it wants to share. You get the share pop-up over here, and you have to okay it. It just doesn't automatically happen. Okay. Yes, I want to share that. So you click on it and you share it. Pretty neat. Quick pairing for Bluetooth devices. All right, now I got a new mouse. I have a new DVD, CD player, some other device. I want to pair it with my PC. And now when you bring that device close by, it'll be accessed. You'll get a pop-up on the screen. And right now, this only works with Microsoft peripherals. If a device manufacturer wants to add that feature to his hardware, then they can do it. But right now, it's only for Microsoft peripherals, and this is the kind of screen you get. New Bluetooth mouse found, new Bluetooth something found. Notice this is over in the bottom right-hand corner, pop-up of your screen. You click on connect, and it connects it. I said I was going to talk a little bit about Bluetooth. Okay, Bluetooth 5 is on the market. It came out in 2016. And Bluetooth 5 has some improvements over Bluetooth 4.2, which is the latest Bluetooth version. My new iPhone 8 has Bluetooth 5 capabilities. So you might check if you've gotten a device recently, whether it's Bluetooth 5 or 4.2. And so the greater distances and the faster times are available. If, in fact, you have Bluetooth 5 capabilities, then you're going to see a change. And in the previous presentation about devices in your house to make a smart home, most of them are coming out with Bluetooth 5 capabilities. They still operate at the same frequency. It's just the range and the time for the speed for transferring data has improved. A whole new subject, and a lot of people are already on board with this, and so I wanted to bring it up because it's coming out, of course, in the 2018 update. Progressive web apps. Now, don't let it confuse you because it's really kind of simple. The web developers can come up with a update to a progressive web app, and they can make it directly to it. This is happening now. No matter what browser you're using, when in fact that browser needs to be updated, it can be done directly from the person that owns the browser. Mozilla Firefox, Chrome, with Google, whatever. Okay, so now we're coming up with apps that will do the same thing. And the PWA app has to be able to run on all browsers and all platforms. So if you have a PWA app, it's got to be able to run on an Android, on an Apple, on a, you name it. That's one of the requirements for a PWA. When you install a PWA, and it's again just an app, but it's a progressive web app, you get a home screen, a taskbar, and some kind of icon to start it up, depending on what kind of platform you're running it on. Also, the PWA will give you offline support, be able to take notifications from the app. It'll allow you to sync in the background with other things. And of course, before they do any of those things, they have to ask and get permission before doing it. That's what the Bible says. They got to do it. They got to ask for it. So the characteristics are PWAs are responsive. They're connectivity independent. They're installable. They can easily be installed. They're secure. They're linkable. They're app-like. They're progressive. And PWAs are a thing of the future. And the reason that they're a thing of the future is simply because now if I'm a developer of an app, I can have a PWA app that will fit all platforms, and I don't have to go out to 7 different sites and put my update. I can put my update right into the web app. And that saves me time, saves me energy, saves me money. It's definitely a thing of the future. So be aware of PWA apps, and Microsoft has some PWA apps already that they've approved. And they're on their website store, on the Microsoft Store. I'll show you those in a minute. So a PWA app might look like this. Okay, this is Financial Times. Financial Times wants to install this on your desktop, and then you don't have to open up your browser. All you have to do is go and click on that app, and you'll go right into Financial Times. And Financial Times can be updated anytime they want. Microsoft, like I said, has an index so far of PWA apps. And you install them just like any other app out of the Microsoft Store. And in the future, they want to be able to install them directly from using Microsoft Edge. And you could get things like Gmail and Google Calendar in a PWA app, because Google is certainly behind this. Okay, again, the app developers can design one app that works everywhere and doesn't have to be in 10 different places for different platforms. Here is a list of the 14 apps that are available with Microsoft right now. And I picked on Carfax because I could find an example of it. So if you went to the Microsoft Store and you said PWA apps, these 14 would show up. And then if you clicked on Carfax, this is what you would see next. And it's available on PC, mobile, HoloLens, and the Hub. And click on launch and off she goes. So who is using PWA apps? Starbucks, Twitter, Instagram, the Weather Channel, the Washington Post, Amazon Prime. Interesting. And this is just a partial list of the people that are jumping on board this new technology. So be aware of PWA apps and what they're all about. Now let's talk about Edge. And of course, I'm talking about Edge as the browser that Microsoft supports. They're doing a new, it's not new, it's already come out. They call it transparency effect. They call it by a different name. But the browser is getting to look like something that you don't really see every day. And this is Microsoft's thing. Yes, they've come out with some better contrast and darker blacks and better colors, and the buttons that they're going to change in the Edge are smaller. Their animation's been updated. They redesigned the hub. I'll show you that hub in a second. So now that when you click on the hub, you get more things that will pop up. If you right-click a book in the library view, you can pin it to your start screen. Your favorites bar will automatically appear on the tab screen if you have more than one favorite. And this is this design effect that Microsoft is coming out with. Transparency behind my yellow insert there. The hub is over here, and if you click on the hub, you get a more complete list. All the new features of Edge can be found at this ZDNet site. So you might want to take that into consideration and take a look at it if you're an Edge user. Edge now will remember information, and I'll show you what the sheet looks like in a second. So you can fill in your name and your address and your phone number and what have you, and it'll remember that. And when a form comes up, because you're on a certain website, it'll fill a form out for you automatically. I have a password manager called LastPass that does that for me. It can sync this information that you put on this form across your different devices. It can also automatically fill in credit card information except for the CVV code. If you want to use that out of your browser, that's fine and dandy. But when it comes to checkout, you still got to put in the CVV code. So let's take a look at what this name address form looks like. Name, organization, phone number, email, street address, zip code, the whole 9 yards. And if you want to have Edge remember credit card information, then you can turn this on or off, or add a card. You can have as many cards as you want on there, yada, yada, yada. Another improvement on Edge. One of the things I really don't like when I go and use any browser is when I open up a website, a video, and the sound for that video automatically starts. Well, in Edge, they're going to give you the capability to mute that. So if you go to a different website, all you have to do is click on the tab at the top of Edge for that website and go down and click on mute tab, and you won't have to listen to the music or the guy trying to sell you something. I think that's neat. I wished Mozilla Firefox had it. Got a full screen mode that you can get in Edge just by pushing the F11 key at the top of your keyboard. And if you are in full screen and you want to go and look at your navigation bar, then you can do that by swiping down from the top of the screen, and the navigation bar will come back up. And then you don't have to leave full screen mode. The next thing that Edge is coming out with is clutter-free printing, and I really like this. And I'm going to show you a pop-up of what you'll get when your printer comes up, where you can select this, which will be available in the new 2018 update. Of course, it won't work on every website, but I think that a lot of the websites will get on board with this because that's what people want. And who wants to print something with all the advertisements on it? You can always use the reader's view, but the reader's view also has limitations. So, in this example, they're using a Dell printer, and it comes up with printer, and they're going to go to the Microsoft print to PDF, and you go down and you select clutter-free printing. You turn it on, and then you hit print, and you get clutter-free printing out of your printer, controlled by the computer. More Edge improvements. The reading experience. Now you can get a more consistent display when you're doing PDFs, web pages, and reader's view or EPUBs. All right. The bookmark management feature for creating and working with bookmarks has now been put inside of documents. A full screen reading experience is available. And of course, you can sync these across all of your devices, and EPUB media overlays for audio narrated books. Gestures, Edge improvements. If you have that precision touchpad on your laptop, then you can do the gestures with Edge. Browsing in private. You can choose to allow certain extensions and optionally fill in passwords for only those extensions or those web pages that you go to. And you can also set up that when you say to Edge, don't ask me to save that website, they'll never ask you again. As an example, you have a online banking website. You don't want Edge to save that information because if your browser is hacked, it might be available. You can tell it not to do that. Fine and dandy. Would you like to save this password for Facebook? Never. And then that's it. A complete set of what's new for Microsoft Edge Windows 10 update is available at this bit.ly website. And I'm finished. Hey, I did pretty good, David.
Yeah, you made it with 30 seconds to spare. Which is going to give us time for one question that actually seems to pop up a lot during this one discussion. I think we got it last time. Does the new cleanup any faster than the old disk cleanup?
No. No. That's what I've read on it is it does the same thing, so I would say it's not any faster. It's just easier to get to.
Okay. Because it said the other devices that do it a lot quicker. Okay. Yeah. And does the disk cleanup work on your cloud drive, such as OneDrive?
No.
Okay.
It does not.
Okay.